when something as simple as is written, like, like Mera Hissa Do, it's just
Yeah.
words on paper. You really made it your own. What was the discussion between you and your director just about the delivery of these dialogues?
Avinash
Yeah.
and Jitin, Lakshay, these guys were totally in character. They used to
Okay.
talk like this in life also. We were just told to keep things real.
What makes her not intimidated with these boys? Because they are a gang, they are the kundas of the area, they are the bullies of the area.
Yeah.
Why is she not scared of them?
She's inherently confident. She doesn't think that she's any less.
I know you can't tell us, but that last shot is clearly the hook for what we should expect in the future.
I mean, I would hope so. Hi, I'm Kritika Kamra. You're watching this interview with Rohit Khilnani on Bollywood Hungama.
Kritika, welcome to Bollywood Hungama. After our last interview, I'm now interviewing you. You are on a bit of a high, and very rightly so, very well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I was amongst the first people to watch Bambai Meri Jaan.
And the first to message also.
I had to message you because your character, the way you pulled it off, was absolutely exceptional. Let's go back, and I want to know about the journey of this character. How did this shape up? So let's go back to when you read it. What was it?
So the first time you read any script, you're reading the story. You want to read a story and see how engaging it is, and just how fast you read it and how much you're engrossed in it. And this one absolutely blew my mind. It was the thickest script I've ever got. It was like a book, okay? And I started reading, and I read all 10 episodes in one go, and my mind was blown. Like, I had to take a breather in the middle because it's so intense what's happening, and there's so many characters, and this world is also like the 70s, 80s, so completely different world. But the first reaction was, wow, what a story. I need to be a part of this world.
Okay.
But luckily, I had already auditioned for it by then. I got the script after I was selected.
Right.
So it was like I got a call from Casting Bay, the casting agency, for this character. Even the audition scenes were amazing.
Tell us, what were the auditions?
So they were, one was my scene in the cafe where I go to meet this guy, the suitor who I scare off. That was one.
Right.
The second one was with the boys. My first scene, my introduction scene where I say ki mera hissa nikalo. And the last one was the scene with Abbu where I scream at him and I say, what if it was me?
Right.
So three completely different. And
scenes.
obviously and this audition was, I think, we took like 7-8 hours to shoot these 3 scenes. We properly shot these scenes, and kudos to the team also.
It's not like auditions like like nowadays there's home audition, there's this, that.
Yeah.
This sounds quite elaborate.
It was very elaborate. I mean, they blocked the whole day for me, and Kritarth and Anmol, that team from Casting Bay, they're very good and very professional, very organized. So they really, I mean, they made it happen, to be honest. It really helps when your co-actor in the audition is also good, and it's being shot like with multiple cameras and stuff. So it was done like that, and luckily it worked.
Right.
And then I went to meet Shujat sir, and I got the script to read.
Wow. When something as simple as is written, like like Mera Hissa Do, it's just words on paper. You really made it your own. And what was the discussion between you and your director just about the delivery of these dialogues? How should this be? Because those 70s was a very filmy time.
Yeah. But if you've seen this in the show, it's very conversational. The note to all of us was that don't act like it's a period drama. Means like, don't act like people used to act in 60s, 70s. Just be today, be conversational. The world around you will do its thing. It'll transport people into that world, but talk like how we talk.
Right.
It was important to get the dialect right, for sure. Like that flavor of Bombaya, very specific slangs and the way of talking. And for that, my co-actors, Avinash and Jitin, Lakshay, these guys were totally in character. They used to talk like this in life also. So it was just like, I just became one of the boys. And we were just told to keep things real. And that's it.
This girl has a journey of her own, and she's brought up with these boys.
Yeah.
What makes her not intimidated with these boys? Because they are a gang, they are the kundas of the area, they are the bullies of the area.
Yeah.
Why is she not scared of them?
She's inherently confident. She doesn't think that she's any less. She obviously enjoys the, the command, the power she has because she's Dara's sister.
Yeah.
But even without Dara, she can pretty much like handle herself, whether it's in a bus or in that cafe, or like she's really smart and very tactful. And that's her strength.
Right.
Even like the whole arc. I mean, if you see by the end of the season, also you see that that's what she brings to the table.
Right.
The men have might and they have the guns and they have their goons, but she has strategy.
Right.
And that's how she thinks. So she has it from the beginning, which is why she's so smart that she's not gone and collected hafta, but she's like, where is my hissa? Because I'm not going to tell the parents, no.
Right.
So that's my role. So she's very, she's street smart.
What was on paper, we saw that. What was the director's brief?
A lot of things. We had many discussions, about the character, about relationships, about Habiba and Dara, about Habiba and her father. And why does she not think like her father? Why does she think like Dara? What does she think of her mother? Because you keep seeing her disagree with the mother, and they are the only two women in this world, and you see a big difference in how they think, and the generation gap, and the fact that the mother sides with the father, and she's still, she wants to do the right thing. She's torn between the father and son. But Habiba, from the word go, has her morality is pretty, it's blurred. She doesn't care about the means, she cares about the end. So it was just a lot of these conversations.
Wow.
And just how she would carry herself, even about body language, and just how does she walk, talk, how will she sit on that chair. It can't be out of the blue, but it is a defining moment in the character's journey. So just everything was really discussed and rehearsed and kind of like, very thought through, premeditated.
Right. So when you all discussed that, why doesn't she think like the father? What is the answer to that? Why does? Because father is the correct man.
So multiple things. I think also like Dara and Habiba are basically like soulmates in a sense that they get each other.
They understand each other.
And they are very alike. And she looks up to him. She wants to be like Dara. Because since the time that she has grown up, or when she's growing up, Dara is the provider. And in that world, survival, family, revenge, these are very big things for these people, these characters, these are what drive, these things drive these characters.
Right.
And so she sees that hero in Dara. I also feel that because she's the youngest in the family, sometimes the youngest, like the younger child is like shielded from, they are not so aware of the parent struggles. Because they already have older siblings also, taking care of them, and the older siblings become role models more than the parents because of just the generation gap. But it's a mix of nature and nurture with her. She's inherently badass in that sense, and also the way Dara gets success in front of her eyes, that's the thing to aspire for.
That's the thing to aspire for. And also, but then will the father feel betrayed that this child also, this girl child also has gone on the same path?
He does. I mean, that's how it ends, and it's so beautiful because you're essentially seeing this father's journey. And of course, you see Dara right from the beginning, you can sense that he's going to go down that road, and he does, and he never looks back. And then I think the last, sort of like thing that really would be a heartbreak for any parent is to see their only daughter also kind of choosing the wrong path.
Right.
And it's I remember even shooting for that scene where I sit and and you kind of like, it's so beautifully shot even that the father is Abu is in the back, he's become the background, like he's stepped back because these kids are just
Right. I know you can't tell us, but that last shot is clearly the hook for what we should expect in the future.
I mean, I would hope so.
But when you went into this right on the first day, did you know there'll be a journey beyond, because this character she has the potential for her own story?
So you can sense that the story doesn't end here. I mean, it cannot, because of just it's a cliffhanger. So the show was always conceived to be in multiple seasons, like different chapters. And of course, when I read it, when the last thing happened, it just came out of the blue, and I was like, wow. And I'm equally excited to see what lies ahead. I haven't read anything, but I
Okay.
believe there are things that are ready, and I think the makers have an idea of where it's going. I mean, you
Right.
have to kind of formulate it like that.
True.
But yeah, I'm also really hoping and waiting for season 2.
Right. How often, like, you've been working for quite a few years now. How often does something like that come, which you can completely now always bank on? You're this girl who did this big role.
I don't know about that. I mean, I feel like every role, every part, you kind of hope to get some confidence from it.
Correct.
And a lot of it you get because of the experience that you have making it.
Right.
And then, of course, like in this case, like it's been received so well, and the love that I'm getting now,
Yeah.
that's really like, that's very heartening, because it makes me feel like I can gamble now. This was a chance I took. I did something that I didn't think I could pull off. And, and now, I mean, if I, when I get to come back for season 2 with the same character and whatever else I do next, I think I'm going to have a little bit more confidence as an actor.
Right.
And that's what you want. But
That's
it's a long process. I get that. I mean, it's a learning for life, so it's going to go on.
True. You said you didn't think you could pull this off. Why do you say that?
Because it's just, I'm so different from a lot of times, and especially I think for actresses, you get parts that are, that can be an extension of your personality.
Okay.
That are relatable, and that are like, you read something and you're like, this is up my alley. This is something that I can, do. And then the challenge becomes to like how to do it differently, how to not repeat yourself. What can I bring to this? How can I do this in a new way? Because there's enough reference of certain like characters in mainstream cinema. But this one had no reference point.
Right.
And this one is one of those roles that don't really come by. How many times in my career am I going to get to play a female gangster? Like, like I don't think it's going to happen again.
Right. When this released, where were you, when did you start hearing that, okay, things are going my way?
As in like after release?
After
or while?
yeah, when it released, where were you, and when did your family, friends, who everybody saw it?
So we were in London because the
Yes.
premiere happened in London, and I remember the night, of course, because of time difference, we were still like walking down the streets
Okay.
and just all of us, the team, as in people who were in London, really missing the rest of the team,
Oh, yeah.
who had, by the way, gotten together here. Like they had a house party with like 45 people watching the
Watching
show
together,
together,
what fun.
which was a lot of fun and full FOMO. I was like, I
Yeah,
really want to
yeah.
be a part of this. But we were still in London.
Okay.
And, Avinash is very much like Dara, by the way. Like, he's really like, he's a
the-
confident guy. But just a couple of hours before the show was going to drop, he got really nervous.
Oh my God.
And that started rubbing off on me.
Huh.
And suddenly he was behaving like a child. He was throwing a full-blown tantrum and being like, and I understand because he
It is,
gave
yeah.
for 5 years of his life to this.
yeah.
He gave it everything. So the stakes were so high
Yeah.
that I think when you're so close for everybody to, to the time that the show drops and everybody's going to watch and react to it, you're bound to get nervous.
Yeah.
And his nervousness really rubbed off
Oh my God.
on me. So we were just there, and then reactions started coming in. But it was all very encouraging.
Yeah.
Started with your video, started with your message, and
Good, I'm
so
happy.
far going good.
Happy. Isn't this character intimidating? Do you go back home with this sometimes? Because it's such a, when you play someone when we watch someone so powerful, we start acting like that after the movie. Everybody walks like a certain confidence. You played this girl. Is it intimidating? How do you switch off and not take her home and become a little bit like her?
I take back experiences of shooting a particular scene or what I did that day on set, but I
Okay.
don't really take back the character so
Okay.
much. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like it's don't get me wrong, like it's in my head, but it's very internal.
But
It's in
good,
the-
if you can switch off and go
yeah,
back
yeah.
home.
So
it's
I
great.
start thinking about what we're going to shoot next, the next day,
Right.
or like what comes ahead, or am I happy with what we shot? What could I have done differently? Oh, I go down that rabbit hole a lot. So it's more about I think more about the
Process. The process is important.
Yeah,
for you.
that goes back with me. But the
Mm.
character, honestly, and also this one we shot over 2 years. It was,
Yeah.
it would be unhealthy
Yeah,
to be
go.
in character for very long. And with the power and everything, it's something that the set used to do. You reach there, and it's, it was just such a conducive environment for an actor.
Where all was this shot?
So a lot of it is on a set, because
Yeah.
you can't shoot live locations in Bombay anymore, in Mumbai anymore, because it doesn't look the
it
same.
doesn't
The
look the
skyline
same.
is not the same. The streets are not the same. So we had this massive set in Mud Island,
Wow.
really big, like a city, like with like roads and street lights and buildings and
Like
and
Bombay.
cars and
Nice.
and the physical world would really transport you into that time. And then you get into, there are tools, you get into costume, you start saying the lines, you interact with other people, and you somewhere just, you blend in. And that's what you want to do. You just want to blend in that world.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that power and everything came from what was on script and how we were being shot. We were not carrying, it was all very internal.
Right.
Like, we were not, carrying that around. Even on set, we were very chill. So that wasn't hard to get out of.
Right. Who in this entire group is interested in this topic? How they were, like, there must have been, like, this is not based on someone, but generally about the topic of underworld. Who is the person?
I think all of us are fascinated. And it's also because there's so much mystery around it, and you've seen it in movies, or you've read what's been written, reported about these times, and Hussain Zaid's work specifically. So it's really fascinating. I don't think there's anybody who's not fascinated by this world.
Yeah, true.
And that's why, people really enjoy watching these stories even again and again, because you want to understand these people. You really want to know their reasons, because you can't relate. You can't fathom how, they are like this.
Yeah.
And that's what's fascinating. So just as a human study, and just studying these characters, or just like, talking about them, or reading something about somebody.
How does your family see this? What did they say? Because they've seen such a different version of you here.
I gave them many disclaimers. I said, firstly, you cannot, please, my language, it's not me, it's my character. Okay, there are some expletives and things that I do not use in life, but it's going to happen.
Right.
And then also like the violence, and just some of the really, there are some sequences that are quite hard to watch. I'm very aware.
Yeah, true.
So those specifically, my mother, I had to especially tell her that you please be prepared for this. But parents are parents. My parents binged the show the night it dropped.
Wow.
All 10 episodes. And I kept telling them, I said, you all can wait, why don't you? They were so excited, because it's been a long wait, this one.
Correct. What did they say?
They really liked it. They were also quite, they didn't know much about the process. So I don't live with my parents. They're not here in Mumbai. So they don't know my day-to-day that much. We talk every day, but we don't really talk about work at length. So they didn't know what had gone into it and what went behind it. They had an idea, but not the details. But when they watched it, they were like, we can't even imagine what's gone into just making this show for like all of us, because it looks really massive.
Right. But they are obviously very proud. But anything they said about your character, how you played it?
My parents are my worst critics. They don't say anything bad ever.
Of course.
So they love anything and everything I do, and they always say good things. But it's great also. It's unconditional love.
Absolutely. When one doesn't have a show like that on their list, the pressure is to get it. After you get it, then the pressure is to maintain some kind of shows and maintain some and keep getting good work.
Yeah.
Where is your mind space when it comes to all that?
I've always been a bit picky, so I'm always in that space where I'm greedy for like better options, more, to choose from. And that choice has really opened up.
Right.
Because I think now people have kind of seen that I can do something like this as well. The idea is, again, not to repeat myself. Of course, I'm going to hopefully get to be Habiba again. So we'll do this here. But now, like you said, I want to choose things that are that give me a similar experience, something immersive, something really to like, that I can spend time on, and something original to create.
Yeah. Super. So can you tell us what comes next? Is there a
So next should be, hopefully, I think that's what's coming this year, is Gyara Gyara, this show I've done for Z5. Sikhya and Dharma have produced it.
Yeah.
So Guneet Monga, Karan Johar, they are collaborating. It's their first web series also. Umesh Bisht, who directed Paglet, has directed this show. It has Raghav Juyal, Dhairya Karwa and me.
Wow.
Playing cops.
Yes.
So from a gangster to a
To
police
a cop.
officer.
So that should be this year. That will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super.
it should be this year.
Super. So good. The good year for you overall, and I can't wait to watch that one as well.
I'll wait for your message this time. Even if it's bad, just tell me. Okay?
I will tell you.
No,
on the
if
side.
I'm bad.
I
But I
don't
won't
think.
be.
I don't
The
think.
show won't be.
Yeah. No. Nor will you be.
Hi, I'm Kritika Kamra. You're watching this interview with Rohit Khilnani on Bollywood Hungama.